3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into. Start right, good line, good view, it drew. Shooter McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up high and 2 fingers pointed.
The green jacket is going north of the border. Mike Weir has won the Masters.
That I'm playing. Sometimes these part 3 green look like an island. A plunge and keep it on dry land. At least I might try, man. Up with the 5 and might use the trap, man. I got a check, man. Line tango ball speed, rated that batsman, and where that ball land. Watch that.
Welcome to On the Screws podcast. This might be a confusing episode for some because we both share the same name, but I got Mac Boucher. Do you go Boucher or do you go French Canadian Boucher or?
No, it's just Boucher.
Boucher, okay. So Mac Boucher, MACBOUCHERGOLF. A lot of you will checking out this page might know him. Kind of, we can call you Instagram famous a little bit. I know you had a couple viral videos, so let me pass it over to you to Mac. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Perfect. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my name is Mac Boucher. I grew up in Uxbridge, which is just north of the city here in Toronto. Started playing golf pretty late when I was about 17. Took a year off after high school and started working with Sean Foley down in Florida. Lived with a couple Canadian tour guys down there. Robbie Greenwell at the time, and then Dave Markle, who now caddies for Michael Gliggett on the PGA Tour there. So lived with them, which was awesome. Kind of got my feet wet there right off the start there. So from there, I got recruited by a small NAI school in Savannah, Georgia, which I went to that next year. Didn't last very long. Coach and I didn't really see eye to eye that well, so I kind of decided to try somewhere else. So I actually ended up at a little school in Michigan. Went to school there, played a few years for their team, and then graduated from there and decided to take a shot at the pro golf. Did it for a few years. I was living over in Australia in the wintertime, playing Australasian Tour. Had Mackenzie Tour status for a couple seasons. Played a lot of the mini tour stuff around Ontario and like the northern states and U.S. Had wrist surgery about 4 years ago, which kind of derailed my playing career for the most part. Kind of made me give it up a little bit earlier than maybe I would have hoped. And then I actually moved to New Zealand full time in 2017. Took the head teaching job at a course in Queenstown, New Zealand called Millbrook. So I was over there until COVID hit. Obviously, when COVID hit, it was sent home kind of thing, which was pretty unfortunate. So came back to Toronto last summer and then started teaching at a TXG. Then obviously the lockdown hit and went over to Dubai for a few months, and now we're here.
Yeah, I know. So just a bit of a background with you and I. We've been, I contacted you a little over a year now, and kind of we said, let's set up a lesson or whatever. I'm a lefty named Mac. I figured, no brainer, right? Let's figure out this golf game. And here we are a year later, still trying to plan that lesson. So you started when you were 17, you said. That's pretty incredible. So you didn't play much high school golf or anything like that?
No, I played my final year in high school. I picked it up pretty quick. Like I played a lot of other sports and stuff growing up, so it wasn't like a super difficult transition. But yeah, I picked it up super late. I kind of wish I started earlier, but wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Well, it's hard to, when we're, I know a lot of the things that I've talked to you about trying to work out in my game are things that I've had in my game forever. And I was away from the game for an injury, kind of like yourself with your wrist. I was away for a few years with a back injury. So, I know the things that I do. I just, to an extent, really, I just really need to clean them up. But they're old habits, right? They're kind of like hockey player habits. I have a very neutral grip. I don't have a strong grip like most hockey players, but I know I have weak wrists at the top, and so that's something that we can clean up another time. But so you played a little bit of pro golf, and you got a few wins, I guess, right? You got, I think, 5 wins.
Yeah, it was around 5 or 6 kind of wins on the Great Lakes Tour, Mandarin Tour. I won a couple kind of over in Australia, smaller ones. It was pretty successful for a while. Obviously, it's a tough grind out there. I kind of knew I was maybe never good enough to actually make it, but it was fun taking a rip at it and kind of allowing me to see a lot of the world through golf, which was pretty cool. So
yeah, you've traveled a lot even within in the last year or so, and you're kind of going out west. You're going out west on Tuesday, right? So, so you said you know, you went to one college before, and then you ended up leaving. You didn't see eye to eye with the coach. So I'm going to take a guess that you have a very unique approach to the game, right? So you do things a lot differently than a lot of other people, which is why people are so attracted to your page. I think, like myself, I get to see a lot of shots and a lot of confidence in your shots that I typically would not try on the course. So it kind of, you know, gives me an idea to try them out when I'm at the range or the practice facility, right? So was that it? Was it that you had such a unique approach to the game that way?
It pretty much bang on, yeah. So
Yeah.
when I started working with Sean Foley, he loved that I had come from like an athletic background and picked it up quickly, and he never really tried to change what I did. I've always had a good time, like not much of an issue making good contact, and like I can hit different shots, and I never had an issue with that. But yeah, this coach was very old school. I remember it was like a preseason tournament somewhere near Atlanta. So our team went up, and I was playing really well. We came to the 18th hole, and it was this every night before tournaments, he would have like pep talks with the team where we would essentially go over course strategy for the tournament the next day, where we're gonna hit 5-iron off hole 15 tee because it's tight and whatever. He didn't take into account that I was the only lefty on the team, and
Right.
I see things differently. So 5-iron might look good to them, but for me, a driver over the trees is probably better. So yeah, we came to 18. I was playing really well. I was a few under par, and he's like, "Okay, you're gonna hit the 5-iron off the tee here." I'm like, "No, like I'm gonna hit driver. Like I can almost get to the green, and like it sets my eye perfectly." He's like, "Well, just know if you hit driver, you're not coming to the first tournament." And I'm like, "The heck?" So I take the 5-iron out, just blast straight to the goodies. I'm like, so just from that day on, it was just like, this is miserable. I remember calling my parents, being like, "I love being down here. I love the opportunity to be in like a warmer climate where I can play all year round and like all that." But I'm like, the guys in the team were awesome, but I'm like, I don't think I can't do this.
Out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose a ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario, birdie or eagle. I swing on the daily, I swing on the daily. My flow like little baby. I might tee up with some ladies. Play the course, you play, they pay me.
Using that type of creativity, let's kind of roll into the Instagram. So or even social media in general. So what was it that kind of, made you want to kind of capture that type of the game for others to watch?
Yeah, so for me, like I knew I've always been unique. Like even when I was known for it when I played, like everyone, I kind of got chirped for it, lightheartedly. Like it was always like, "What are you doing?" So, and I'm a creative person, so I went to an art school in Savannah, Georgia. That's what I went to school for, industrial design. It was like, for me, it's a way of kind of expressing the creativity side or the creative side of me through golf. So I honestly, the video side of it kind of just happened. I never really put much thought into it. I just started doing it, and then it kind of picked up steam quicker than maybe I expected. So. And
then one time down in Dubai, you hit like a 100-yard slinger down in or across the water or something, right? So.
Yeah, that one definitely helped get some eyes on my page for sure. So.
I think that was
like, that's just normal stuff for me. Like that's to people. I mean, I was reading the comments on like Zyre Golf and golfers doing things, and I think ESPN posted it, like all these big things, and everyone's like, "That's fake. That's fake. This guy's fake. Didn't happen." And I'm like, people that have played with me know the stupid stuff I do. Like it's doesn't make sense. And you know what? Sometimes I don't pull it off. Sometimes I look like a real idiot, but I just try again. So.
Well, that's golf, right? Like it's like I had at that point, I'd been following around your page for 6 months. So when I saw it, I never had that doubt in my mind, like, oh, this is a fake shot. I thought it was pretty incredible that you hit it. But you can also see it's like you look like you're in a full blown monsoon there, or is about to be rolling in, right? So
yeah, full on sandstorm.
So is there a couple shots over the last couple of years that you can remember that really stick out in your mind, whether or not you posted them or not, but where you just thought to yourself, like, can't believe I pulled that off?
Yeah, so actually, probably the best, I have one that like really sticks out. It's probably still the best shot I've ever hit, considering the circumstances. So I had never played in a USGA qualifier before because I picked it up so late, so never did the US Junior, any of that stuff. USGA used to have a tournament called the US Public Links, which was pretty much their next tournament below the USAM. It's for all the public players. So I went down to Rochester, New York. I can't remember the name of the course. They used Ravenwood. They used to hold a web.com event there back in the day. Good golf course. So I went to this qualifier. I show up. I'm using like my D3 golf bag, like from some school in northern Michigan. There's all these guys with like the big D1 schools playing, and it was like pretty much the biggest. I played in the Canadian Am and stuff, but I'd never played anything too like in the US. So I got to the qualifiers, 2 rounds one day, just like USAM. I was leading after the morning wave. I think I shot like 70. Scores were like not very low. Afternoon, played a little bit worse. I think I shot like 73 or something. Got into a 3 or 4 for 1 playoff for the second spot. So there's 2 spots at this qualifier, over 100 guys playing. So there's 4 of us. There's a guy from Louisville, a guy from University of Florida, and then another guy. And we all tied the first hole with pars. The next hole was this par 5. I had about 290 on my second shot, slight upslope. All the other guys laid up, and I pulled driver off deck and hit like this big power slice to like 10 feet. Missed the putt, didn't even come close, which is a huge shocker, but I was the only guy to make birdie in the group. Actually, one of the guys in the group on his approach shot hit the pin and like went to the bunker. But yeah, it was like I couldn't have drawn it up any better. Like it was like the kind of one of those shots you don't hit very often.
Yeah, well, and
Right
that's that creative side too, right? So I know you've posted quite a few times that you struggle with your putting. So, like I know that's
freaky. Like the thing is it's tough because I try to video like 1 or 2 shot or holes around. Like I don't want to just have my phone out the whole time. I do like to concentrate and play proper golf. So I whip my phone out normally twice around, and chances are like you're not going to make every 10-footer you look at. So
yeah, of course.
It's hard because I like to keep it as authentic as possible. I'm not going to be that guy that's kind of just posting me making birdies in every hole. I post a lot of pars because like typically I video the holes that set my eye well, and kind of I'm the first to admit that. So
well, of course too. Like you don't want to like myself. I tune into your page to kind of learn, like a lot of us do. We're not just there to, I guess just be negative on the post or whatever. There's, if you have 10,000 fans or, people following your page, there's going to be a lot of us there that are there to try and learn some things from your swing. Like you said, you're so unique, right? So, like I just thought about, so we're in Ontario. Anybody who might be listening, anywhere else, but we're in Ontario, so we're not golfing here right now. Which I had a friend of mine down in the States couldn't believe that. He thought like it's absolutely crazy, so just ludicrous. But I was walking up the first fairway when I guess Doug Ford had made his announcement we weren't golfing anymore. I got a text or whatever it was that we weren't, so I tried to video a couple holes, and like my phone was already half dead. I worked that day, so got to the course and videoed a couple, and I had 3 straight holes where I think I had birdie putts on all, or no, I had a wedge shot on, I had a bad pull, which I didn't get recorded. And then I had 2 birdie putts. So it was kind of like, I don't know, that doesn't always happen. Like it was pretty lucky. I didn't make any of them, but then I get to like the next hole, which is the easiest hole on the course. And I hit like a 40-yard pull and then ended up making bogey on like the easiest par 5. It's like a 485-yard par 5 or something like that. So I just thought, this is typical of kind of how this would work. But I don't know. You probably wouldn't want to post those ones because people just wouldn't come back, right? I understand that.
The thing is, it's like I'll post the bad ones, like the one I posted the other day where I went and played that tournament in Quebec, like just before, it would have been last September. It was just one for fun. It was the ECPT, so East Coast Pro Tours, like tour championship. I drive out there. Hadn't played a tournament in a couple of years, like pretty nervous, and played pretty well the first round. I think I was like almost leading the tournament in birdies. Like that's not. And then the second round, I had like a chance to get into the money and just bashed it off a couple trees at the end there, and that's golf. Like it happens. But I'm not gonna post like a bogey. Like no one needs to see me hitting in the rough and hitting a mediocre iron shot that misses the green and then a mediocre chip. Like I get that a lot. Like people saying you need to post like more bad holes, and I'm like, that's not really useful for anyone. There's enough bad golf around anyways. We don't
Of course,
be
yeah.
sharing it.
Yeah, come watch my page. I think you had a hashtag like powered by steel or something like that at the end, because it just clanked off a few trees. It was pretty good. So anybody go check that one out, because I like that. And mixing those in the odd time are good, right? So I think you made a 7 on like a par 4, so I guess you didn't make the money on that one.
No, I was didn't even come close, to be honest.
Let's go.
Put that ball in the water and I thought it was skip. If it check up too fast and I thought it was skip. If it go past the flag and I thought it was sit. I come ready with excuses, boy, I'm a quit. Not really sure why I started this here. I can't think of nothing harder than this. And the hours I hit, I get darker than this. Stay on the range till them targets get hit. Don't even.
Maybe tell us a little bit about the courses down in New Zealand. I would love to travel to New Zealand. My wife and I are big travelers, so whenever we can, we would love to get down there. That's definitely on our list. We went to Iceland. It was kind of New Zealand or Iceland, and we did our honeymoon in Iceland, which was awesome, but not much golf there at all, right? So,
No.
but maybe tell us a little bit about some of the courses there or in Dubai as well.
Yeah, so I'll start actually in Australia, because I spent a lot of time. The one positive to come from me going to school in Georgia was a guy on my team was from Melbourne, just outside Melbourne. So
Perfect.
when I finished school and decided to turn pro and went to Australasian Q school and went over there, I started living with this guy in Australia. So I spent 5 Canadian winters over in Australia before. So every winter I would go for 5 months and just hang out in Australia. His family was I played a ton at Royal Melbourne, Kingston Heath, all the sandbelt courses in Melbourne, which was unbelievable. So that was pretty cool. And then I started going to New Zealand to play some events over there, and kind of just fell in love with the courses there. So, I mean, there's a few kind of really well-known ones. The ones on the North Island there, like Cape Kidnappers, Kerry Cliffs. There's a new one, Terry Eady, that's in Auckland. That's apparently unbelievable. I haven't had a chance to play that one yet. South Island, where I was, it's a lot more it's kind of like British Columbia, I guess. It's a lot more mountains and lakes and stuff, but still unbelievable. So I taught at a course called Millbrook, which is like a 5-star resort. They held the New Zealand Open there, so it's a really good layout, and just an awesome place to hang out. It's really enjoyable to kind of go out after work and after teaching all day and just play 9 holes, because no one was ever there. It was extremely good.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dubai. I'd been to Dubai before, but actually never to golf. So I didn't really know what to expect. I know a couple that live there, a Canadian couple. They've been there for 7 years. Alex Riggs, who's got a pretty big following on Instagram. He's a pretty well-known guy. And his wife, Claudine Fong. So they've been living there for 7 years. So I kind of messaged them when I decided that I was going to go. And they're like, we should definitely come over. COVID situation's pretty under control here. Golf's great. The weather's good. So we kind of took a flyer on it. And Rebecca Lee Bentham and I went over together because she was looking for somewhere to train, and we wanted to train together. So we kind of went over and took a flyer on it, and a month turned into 3 months because we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, the courses looked amazing. They have a lot of night golf too, right? So it's such an impressive city to look at, and the backdrop on some of those shots just looked it was really cool.
It's something on the bucket list that I've always wanted to do. I played night golf before, but never with that kind of background. So
yeah, not at that. I've seen a lot of night golf posts and whatnot, but none of them looked anything even remotely in being in Dubai, right? So
it's cool because it's a championship golf course. It's par 72, full layout golf course under floodlights, where you're surrounded by this insane city that doesn't even look real. So it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it almost looks like a comic or something in the background, right? It's pretty amazing. But I saw a few weeks ago you had posted that it was kind of right around the WC match play that you had posted you had carried the bag for Victor Perez. So is that something you've done a lot? Have you caddied a lot?
No, so actually I have 2 caddying stories. So that one was kind of random. I was living in New Zealand at the time, and so Victor Perez's agent and kind of manager is a Canadian guy from Toronto. His name's Joe Suchet. So Joe, actually his assistant at the time, Brandon Barrick, that I used to play professionally with, he's a really good player. He's working for the European Tour for a while. He reached out to me and was like, the Perth Super 6 event is in Perth next week, and we have a guy that needs a caddy. Are you able, you're on that side of the world, are you able to go over there and caddy for him? And I was like, I don't know if I could take a week off work and make that work, but I ended up being able to do it. So they flew me over to Perth. And this is when Victor was brand new to European Tour. Like, this would have been one of his first starts out there. So I looped for him. He didn't play overly well that week, but I could tell, like, I remember messaging the guys, like Joe and Brendan, after. I was like, he's gonna, like, he will be top 50 in the world. After watching him play, like, he will be top 50 in the world in a couple of years. And sure enough, like, he is. He's just so disciplined. Like, that guy's got, and he's extremely hardworking. Like, I've never seen that type of, like it's borderline, like, OCD, like, how, like, to a T he has everything. Complete opposite to me. Like, I'm the worst caddy ever for him. Like, worst caddy ever. So,
if he's like, Mac, what would you do here? And you're like, I don't know, man. I'd hit like a 75-yard slinger, like over around this tree or something. Like, yeah.
After the first practice round, he kind of knew, like, where my head was at. Like, we got along really well. We were, like, shooting the shit and having a good time together. But it was definitely two complete opposites. Yeah,
what a player now, though. Like, he's turned in, like, he's probably a top 5 young player in the game right now. Like, I think he's in the top 30 in the official world golf rankings too. So
yeah, he would be after that match play finish. Yeah, and then it was pretty funny because I think 2019, I'm good friends with Richard Jung, Canadian guy that lives in Japan, plays Japanese tour. Played Team Canada, really good player. He got sponsor exemption into the Canadian Open at Hamilton 2019. So he messages me from Korea and was like, can you, I just got sponsor exemption, should I play? And I'm like, what do you mean, should you play? Like, playing on the Japanese tour, like, smarten up, get over here. And he's like, well, like, it's going to cost me a lot of money. I'm going to have to pay, like, a fine for withdrawing after the deadline because it's a Japanese tour major, and then I have to pay for flight and all sorts of stuff. It's like, I don't think I can afford it. So I literally started cold calling companies to get him sponsors, to get him over here. Got his bag all logoed up with, like, he looked like a hockey boards. Like, it was just, like, logos slapped.
Like a European hockey player, yeah.
yeah, literally everywhere. And then, like, got him a deal with Adidas for the week. So, Philippe Black over at Adidas got him, like, a bunch of shirts, and I had logos here and here. It was just, like, it was littered in logos. So, I caddied for him. That was really cool. He was relatively unknown by most Canadians because he's been living over there for most of his pro career. He ended up making the cut by a few, but it was pretty cool experience. We played, I think on the Saturday, he was paired right in between Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka, like, in pairing right in between.
Right.
So the crowds were nuts, and it was Richard's like this. He's pretty tiny, but just built. He's built differently. He led. I think Rory played that year, but he led the. He was leading the tournament in driving distance after the first 2 rounds. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's impressive. I've walked Hamilton too. It's a pretty nice course. I was at, like, a pro-am there one time. Like, but I think that was back in 2009 actually. So, but yeah, that's a pretty cool story. So, you think you'll ever do it again? You'll ever try it again, or?
No, I'm not a fan of it.
No.
Like, I just can't take it seriously. Like, I just don't. Like, they're like, what's actually it, like, we got paired with Michael Gligic, who I'm, like, good buddies with, and Dave Markle for the first 2 rounds. And, like, we were on this par 3 on the Friday, and Richard's like, what's the wind doing? And I literally didn't have a clue and didn't want to give him the wrong answer. So I, like, tapped Markle, and I was like, Markle, what's the wind doing? So he, like, etches something in his book and, like, shows me, and it's something that's not even relevant to
just a stick figure or something. Yeah,
like, it was cool being, like, amongst it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like walking by Rory in the range. It doesn't really, like, I'm not like a fanboy, but, like, it was just kind of a cool experience to get in there with him and kind of watch how real golf's played.
So what's like when you're on the inside of the ropes there, like, what's the thing that, you know, if I'm putting you on the spot here, but what do you notice is the difference from playing on, like, you know, some of the mini tour events and stuff that you have to a PGA Tour event?
So honestly, like, the Thursday, Friday when, like, Richard Young's playing with, like, a couple, like, he was playing with Michael, and I forget who our third were, but there's not a lot of people watching, so it didn't feel that intense. It was kind of like, I mean, I think it made it a little different because they knew each other there, so it was kind of buddy-buddy. It's not like you're just playing with, like, a really good player, well-known player. You're playing with, like, a buddy that's playing on the PGA Tour, so I think that calmed everything, like it's been out there. So it was kind of it was definitely more relaxed, but then the weekend, it was, like, completely different. Like, when there was people in that first tee, like, I was nervous. I don't really feel nerves that often. Like, I was nervous for him when he was teeing off because, like, it was layers of people. Like, it was It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had like Ryan Gregnell on last week, and like he's a 2020 Canadian long drive champ, and I think he got as high as like he had a 9th place finish in the World Long Drive in 2019. So he was saying the same thing. It was kind of cool when he was there. There was a lot of music and stuff. It was pretty relaxed, and then you get to the TV round, and it's just quiet. Like you can hear a pin drop, and like all the lights come on, cameras are on, like they're calling you up right as soon as a commercial's done, and like it's your time to go. So I imagine it would be, something similar to that, where it's just, I don't know, a bit of a different atmosphere on the weekend, right? Especially if you got DJ on one side and then Rory on the other. That's there's a lot of fans watching those, because it was 2019, so one of those two guys would have won it. They were 2008.
Rory won that year, so
yeah.
He was in the group later on, but he was playing between Brooks and Dustin, and I'm pretty sure like at that time, like that was when Brooks was winning all the majors, and like
yeah.
It was kind of like those two were like the two big guys that everyone wanted to watch. So like that first tee, like the first hole, even like all the way down to the green, it was just laced with people. So
well, DJ would have won 2018 too. So it would have been that would have been a sandwich of people. That would have been pretty wild, pretty cool experience. But so as everybody knows, you're a lefty. I'm a lefty. A lot of us up here, 30% or so, they say in Canada, are lefties. So you've started up the lefty gang, right? So what, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. What's the lefty gang?
Yeah, so it was funny because it kind of came to fruition, like I would say right when I got to Dubai and started getting a bit of a following, like I would always get people messaging me all the time being like, oh, lefty gang, like it was like a thing. So I've kind of like started thinking, I'm like, I've always wanted to start something just to, again, use my creative side, design like hats and all that kind of stuff. So
right.
I went into the Instagram, like checked to see if it was taken, like Lefty Golf Gang and then Lefty Gang Golf. They were both open still, so I'm like, I'll just scoop these up just as like an idea. And then I kind of like started kind of just designing little things and stuff. So that's kind of something, once I start working again and once like I get back at it, like with teaching, I'm going to really start pushing that and get some stuff made and really start, because I have a lot of people that have reached out saying they want to buy some stuff. And I think it's a big community that obviously in Canada, like on a range, you'll see a bunch of lefties, but when I go to like Dubai or I go to New Zealand, like there's not a lot of lefties, but there are some that feel very, very forgotten most of the time. So it's that's probably been the most rewarding thing from like growing a bit of a following, is like having all these left-handed players around the world that can't find a left-handed coach and want a left-handed instructor that helps them. So like teaching a lot of virtual lessons with lefties around the world, it's allowed me to meet a lot of these like people that I probably wouldn't have met before. So it's kind of a community, and like I know there's other groups out there, but I think if I can, it's something I want to build up more for sure. Yeah,
I know. Like I'm definitely part of it. So write me down, put me down for a shirt, a glove, a hat, whatever it is, and I'll definitely support that, because like you said, it's something that for me, it's a lot easier to not have to translate, do this with your right foot or do this with your left foot. We've talked about that in the past, right? So, but as you were saying, Lefty Gang, I was just thinking we have, like at the beginning of each podcast, we have an intro from Roy Blackelroy. I don't know if you follow him, but he's like a golf rapper. So he has, he's got a lot of like really cool music. If you've probably heard it, whether or not you know it, but he's got like the Twirl Gang, right? So he made an actual song from that.
Silver Kruger on the track.
Gang, twirl, gang, 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 twirl, gang, twirl, twirl, gang, twirl, gang. Give me that driver, I let it bang. Twirl, gang, give me that whiz, I'm taking that aim. Twirl, gang, twirl, twirl. If you ain't twirling, hitter, you lame. You sick of the twirling, hitter, you gang. Yeah, I'm twirling my stick, staring it down, air to the ground. It's a good chance that I'm in it. The revolution's like 100 a minute. They see me twirling that club, that's how you know that I love it. Yeah, I make it look easy, there really ain't many that do how I does it. Yeah, I might follow through. They say that I look like I'm hooping. I went from the court to course. They say the shooter shoot, you know I've been shooting. Shoot for the 77 like Lucas. So close to the pin you can measure with rulers. Automatic like Big Cat and computers. The squad equipped with them sticks. Shooters, drive for the dough, lift, boom. He think he applying that pressure, but dog, I ain't blinking, ain't flinching. I'm holding my pose and when I'm twirling my sticks. Go ahead and send me that picture. I'm holding my finish. Knock it within a couple of inches. I hit the green in regulation. Get pissed because I don't get the show.
Thought about this as you were talking. Are you going to the moon?
Okay, so that's another whole thing. Like, pretty wild experience. So
I know we got a Leaf game to watch here in a few minutes, but yeah, I gotta know. Are you going to the moon?
I'll quickly go into this one. So I was again building this thing, and when people follow you, like I don't normally click people. Like I was getting a lot of 100 followers a day, and I was kind of getting overwhelming. So I wasn't able to like go through and see who's following me. So then I got just about kind of when I got home from Dubai, I started getting all these weird messages from people saying like, "Can you connect me with this guy?" And I was like, "I don't know who you're talking about. Like I don't know like who is he?" And he's like, "Oh, he follows you on Instagram." And I was like, "Okay, that's weird." So I clicked his profile. I'm like, "Oh, like I've been helping that guy with his golf swing. Like he's messaged me a few times, but I never clicked his profile. He's just like this Japanese guy that he's a left-handed Japanese player, and he messaged me asking for some advice, and we kind of shot some videos back and forth together, and then he randomly messaged me like a couple weeks after that. After all these people were like asking if I could connect them, and he's like, "Have you applied to go to the moon yet?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I'm running like this thing with Elon Musk, and like I think you'd be a really good candidate." So I'm like, I'll take a look at it. Like, never thought about it.
Yeah.
So I applied, made it through the first round, made it through the second round. I'm like into like the third round of applications now. God knows, well, I'm sure it won't happen. They're only picking 8 people. There's millions of applications, but I mean, the guy who's running the expedition is the one who messaged me telling me to do it. So I guess that's a good hint.
Yeah. So is it just like it's just something where you can like pay to do like?
No, so it's not even pay. So that's the thing. So he's a billionaire. So he's one of the richest men in Japan, and he's teamed up with like SpaceX, Elon Musk, to essentially send. It's the first civilian moon landing ever, and it's completely funded. So you don't. It's like I don't have to pay. Like it's completely funded. Like they just send everything. It's happening in 2023. So it's going to be a big deal. Like hasn't hit like mainstream media yet, I don't think. But when it does, like I think it's actually like it'll be a big thing. Like it'll be like when that spaceship got sent to the moon back in the day, like when everyone and their mother was watching. Like it's going to be something like that, I've heard. Like,
we got to get you there with a golf club in hand and like that'd be pretty wild. That's pretty cool. I know, like I'm fascinated by Elon Musk. Like I think that the stuff that he does is just absolutely incredible. Like I'm waiting for a Cybertruck, so hopefully I got one on pre-order, so hopefully those will come in someday. So that's pretty cool. Oh man, that'd be pretty wild. I gotta follow that. You'll have to post some updates if you end up going through.
Like it's like so far-fetched that I haven't even thought about it.
You should just wake up every morning and just be like, "Hey man, can I help you with your golf swing today? Like I want to get to the moon," right? So
random. He's got like over 1 million followers, and he follows like 300 people, and then like I clicked one day and I'm like, yeah, he's following me, like Tiger Woods and like Phil Mickelson. I'm like, it's so random.
No, that's cool, man. That's a pretty cool story. I'm gonna have to follow along, and we'll have to get you back for an update on that because that is pretty wild. But again, we got a Leaf game coming up. You're heading out west in a couple days, so we're recording this a little bit earlier, and you're going out to play some golf because we're in shutdown. So where are you headed? I know, actually, I saw that you posted earlier today. I follow one of the guys that you're going out to play some matches with. So what are you expecting for the next few weeks out there?
Yeah, so it was, obviously we went to lockdown here. I'm like a month. I have a place I can go hit balls. Like I've been going over to a farm, and a family friend of ours has allowed me to go up and just practice and stuff there, which has been great. But
you got the best ball retriever possible, man. Best ball retriever you can get out there.
100%. So, I was at BC about a month ago, and it was like perfect. So I'm like, I'll just go back out. So I quickly booked a flight, and then there's all these like restrictions coming up in BC now. So I've been a little worried that it's going to get canned, but I think I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andrew Rasmussen. So he's kind of the one that actually got me into like making these vids. Like I started following him before I had any followers, and he was putting music with his videos, and like he's a really good player. Played Canadian Tour, like he's awesome, really good swing. So then I started kind of doing that, and we kind of just became like buddy over Instagram, which has been pretty cool. So he I reached out to him and said that I'm going to be out that way, and we're going to set up a couple matches. And we're thinking of doing like an 18-hole match where we video every hole. I upload the evens, he uploads the odds.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Follow both of us. So I'll do like the first hole on a Tuesday, he'll do the second hole on the Wednesday, and it'll be like 18 days of him and I alternating this match. I mean, he'll probably dust me in about 10 holes, but it'll be fun regardless. Like so that'll be a good time. Sure.
So you met him through Instagram? You didn't know him before?
I knew of him just from golf, like
yeah.
the golf community, obviously, but I'd never talked to him, didn't know who he was. So that was strictly Instagram, which is, I mean, that's another cool thing about it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, social media is not evil, right? So that's pretty wild. So
yeah, it's been cool.
Like we live in Canada is a massive country, right? So going out there, the weather will be, quite a bit different, I'm sure, than it is here right now. We've gotten snow within the last couple of days, so hopefully you're able. Is that out on the island?
So he's in Vancouver, so I'm going out to the island
Okay.
I landed on the 27th. I'm going to go out to the island that day, hang out there for a couple weeks, and then come back to the mainland there and play with them probably second week in May, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of, I'm just winging it, to be honest.
And then just kind of see if things reopen here, because I know you're up at Muskoka Bay, right?
Flight booked, but if I have to come back, then I'll come back. Like obviously, when Muskoka Bay opens up, I don't really want to leave them high and dry. So yeah, I'll get back and get back at it.
So what are you hoping to do at Muskoka Bay when you get back? What's the plan for you there?
So the opportunity kind of randomly came about up there, and I was just going to teach at TXG. So when that came up, they're pretty much giving me free reign to do whatever I want. Just strictly teaching. I can do some fitting. I can do kind of whatever I want. Do clinics and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really know what to expect. I don't really know what the clientele's like up there. It's, with the golf industry the way it is and people going to their cottages, I actually think it's going to be quite busy up there.
Right.
Plus, they just opened a hotel at the resort that is massive. So it'll have a lot of people around. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there to kind of, not just for like good players, but a lot of like beginners and stuff, which will be cool to kind of grow. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm just going to kind of go in there and do as much as I can.
All right, Mac. Well, warm up starting here. So let us know for anybody who might be listening who doesn't know where to reach you. Where can we get a hold of you if anybody's looking to book lessons? Are you doing anything online right now? But yeah, how do they get a hold of you?
Probably the best way is just DM me on Instagram there. I've been helping because I haven't really built much of an online teaching yet. I've been just doing a lot of it just on my own time. I don't charge anything for it. I'm happy to help people. So if anyone does want to send a vid through or anything, they can go for it. I typically get back and relatively quick on that, and long term definitely is going to be more virtual lessons and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thanks, Mac. I really appreciate it. I know you're getting ready to head out west, and it's kind of a busy time for you right now. So I appreciate you taking some time. Mac Boucher Golf, go over. We all got something to learn. So check out some of the videos and appreciate all the content that you're putting out for us, Mac.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
He's out in my ball and of course when I tee up, I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach, and I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.